to many of those vibrations, just as other people do, if they feel that that particular frequency domain or level of consciousness can be of aid and assistance in delivering information and energy to you to help you in your path.
Exactly what I feel.
All right. So, what do you do with that energy? What do you do with that information?
Study.
Study what?
Myself.
Well, all right. Is there anything else you do with it out in the world? Any other way you apply that energy?
Through action.
Of what?
Expressing love.
In what ways?
Hugging my kids.
All right. Anything else?
Loving my wife.
All right. Do you have any creative expression? Physically?
Physically, I'm a carpenter.
There you go. Thank you. Is that exciting for you? Yes, no?
It is in the aspect of I connected with ancient Egyptian pyramids and building that way.
All
Not
right.
so much as in a job.
I understand. It doesn't have to be a job.
But I find happiness in being part of transforming matter into shelter.
All right. Therefore, you are drawing upon some similar aspects from the Solomon energy in that there was a temple of Solomon, yeah?
Yes.
Which was creating a sacred space with a certain resonance that would allow people to find balance within themselves, yeah?
Yes.
So there you go.
The question I have is more not in the material world, but more in the spiritual temple.
Oh, all right. And so, what is your question?
How do I...
And by the way...
Yes, sir.
What's so non-spiritual about physical reality?
They're both one and the same.
They are different expressions of the same thing, yes.
Yes. I guess I'm trying to have an awareness of the temple inside rather than out. The awareness I would like is to be able to use this gamma state to connect more spiritually aware to Solomon.
Well, you can use it that way if you wish. It's up to you. Nothing's stopping you from doing that.
How do I recognize that frequency?
I thought you already did. You're already using the name, so you must recognize it somehow.
I do.
Well, then, why are you asking how to recognize something you already recognize? Do you not trust your recognition of it? Then why ask?
I guess I would like to be able to, in simple forms, do exactly what you're doing, but with that frequency.
Well, go ahead. What's stopping you?
I am, obviously.
But I mean,
I'm not aware of what about me is.
But specifically, what is stopping you from doing it? Are you talking about vocal channeling?
Yeah, or writing.
Yeah, that didn't sound very certain.
Well, I don't want to limit myself to just vocal.
Oh, I didn't say you had to.
Yeah.
Did I?
No.
All right.
That was me.
So, is that one of the expressions that you're talking about?
Yes.
All right. Any other expressions? Automatic writing, something else?
Yeah, all of it.
Well, all right. So, are you starting to do it? No?
No.
Well, why not? You don't know how to begin?
That's why I'm here.
Oh, all right. Well, one of the things about vocal channeling that makes it a little easier is if you actually sit down in front of a group of friends who are actually asking questions they want to know the answers to. Because then you can get out of your own way and let them pull the information through you from whatever source you're tapping into in the same way that electricity is grounded. Because if you're just doing it yourself, you're always sitting there wondering, what am I getting? Why am I getting this? Is this the right thing to get? Because you don't need to go into that kind of an altered state just to receive information for yourself alone. The only reason that this altered state really exists in the way that it's being presented here is so that the thoughts of another can be translated into your society and into your language. So if you want to do it that way, then you need somebody asking the question so it will pull the information through you to them. Otherwise, it just stays in you and swims around a little bit. So that's one way to amplify the idea of vocal channeling. Automatic writing, again, you could still do that and have somebody else asking the questions so that you can just go with the flow, not have to pay attention to what's happening, and just let whatever comes through come through. And with more practice, you'll be able to focus in on it, fine-tune it, start to recognize what the energies are along with integrating different aspects of your own consciousness, and then it will become familiar to you, and you'll know what you're doing. Yeah? So does that help?
Yes, it does. May I ask one more question?
That was a question.
On
You want to
behalf
ask
of my
another
wife.
one?
One more.
Oh, all right.
My wife requested that I ask if there is a known energy that she had a dream in Sonoma that she had a ceremony in her dream with people in all white. Many, I don't know how many, but she said many people in white.
Yes.
And as she was waking up, she felt like something was trying to come through her into her crown chakra, named Azarat.
All right.
Do you?
It's a representation of her own higher mind that she is attempting to integrate so that she can go further later. Because she's connecting to other aspects of her being that are part of groups, part of council groups. But right now, it's the idea of the integration and expression of her own higher mind so she can get used to that before she brings something else through. Okay. Yes, she's working with herself on another level. Does that make sense?
Sense.
All right. Does that help?
Yes.
Then, pleasant dreams.
Be well.
Always.
Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So I have kind of a permission slip question.
Yes.
Have I ever met part of my oversoul on Earth? Another human?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Is that it?
No, well, no.
All right.
Cool. How many people?
How many counterpart from the same oversoul do you have in your particular lifespan?
How
15.
many have I met? How many have I met thus far?
You have crossed paths with about 5.
That is
You haven't
so
actually
tricky.
met all of them per se, but you've crossed paths with about 5.
Love it. Is Christina one of them?
Not going to tell you that.
Probably is then.
Not going to tell you that either.
It's all good. It's all good. I wasn't trying to trick you into it.
Anything else?
Maybe on some level. Yes. So just when I buy into the negative beliefs.
Yes.
But then I feel like, okay, so I'm following my anxiety, but I'm aware that I am, and I'm okay with that as long as I'm making process the point. So I'm neutralizing the energy.
Yes.
Then I'm being my true self.
Yes, by working with what comes up, recognizing the difference between what you prefer and what you don't, and then choosing what you prefer without invalidating what you don't prefer, and moving forward in that direction.
Right. I've been choosing my anxiety a lot.
Well, all right. Is that exciting for you?
Apparently it's thrilling.
Apparently. But again, the idea is that that's because your motivational mechanism is backwards. That's all. You've attached belief systems that make what it is that excites you seem less exciting than what it is that you don't prefer by attaching a belief to it that makes it seem more exciting than what you do prefer.
Yeah,
you just have to reverse those beliefs by finding out what they are and seeing how illogical it is where you've attached them and change the attachment.
Yeah, my negative beliefs, like, definitely the motivational mechanism is a little backwards sometimes because I just think,
well, it's not that the mechanism is backwards, it's that your belief system is attached to it in a backwards way.
Yeah, I think, well, if I follow my excitement, what if it's really not that exciting, which is
But again, how can that possibly actually be? So you have a definition attached there that is less than the definition or other than the definition of actual excitement. Because how can your excitement actually be anything less than exciting?
Right, exactly. Also, am I in a part of the hybrid stuff going on?
The hybrid stuff? Isn't that what you put in the middle of your Oreo cookies? Stuff? Yes, you are part of the hybrid stuff that's going on.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Like, so I'm in it. I'm in there. I'm in the middle of it. Involved.
Yes.
Pleiadian vibes, maybe? Parallel life on the Pleiades?
Now you're talking about other kinds of connections that you may have, yes. And Sirius, and Orion,
Oh, yeah.
and Arcturus, and some other hybrid stuff that we won't go into.
Okay, the relevant, yeah, I feel I'm learning more about hybrid children and stuff, and before I felt the connection to the parallel life in the Pleiades and a parallel life in India, and other stuff is becoming more relevant.
Well, you're dealing with a lot of stuff.
A lot of Oreos. I do love
Hopefully
snacks.
it won't knock the stuffing out of you.
Hopefully it will.
Oh, all right.
Because that seems exciting.
Yes, all right, it can be.
I don't remember a lot of my dreams, but I'm starting to think that they're on ships and...
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes.
Okay, great.
Anything else?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you
Thank you.
for going over your stuff with us.
Anytime you want to hear it, Bashar.
All right.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have about 20.
What is your time? It doesn't matter when you need to leave the room.
No. So
You may draw 3 more if you wish.
I have some more questions from you streams.
Then you may draw 2 more.
Okay. Mike. Very good. Okay, the first name is Miguel Hernandez. And the second name, drum roll. Thomas Slavin or Slavin. All right. Okay, we'll let them ask their questions, and
Yes.
then we'll do the last few from our Ustream listeners.
All right.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Hi. It's really exciting to be here, and thank you so much for bringing all this knowledge to us. And
No,
for
I will
everybody
thank
that
you for the
set
co-creation.
this up. So
Yes.
thank you. Wow, I'm like nervous, and everything's going on in my head. But
What would you like to discuss?
so I'm a massage therapist,
Yes.
and recently, since I've come into all your information and all your knowledge, I feel like all these negative definitions have been coming to the surface.
Yes.
And
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How exciting.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when I'm doing massage on my clients, I'll see little bits of light and little flashes.
Yes.
And I'm just, I've heard a lot about negative energy, and that being something that, as a massage therapist, in a way, I'm helping as a permission slip for
Yes.
the person to let go of.
You can, yes.
So I'm wondering if, is that something for me to, what is that? What's with the lights?
Well, as we said, when you expand your consciousness, your senses also sharpen to be capable of seeing things that were heretofore invisible to you. Because there are different energy patterns and different kinds of levels of consciousness and beings all around you all the time, passing through, coming and going. But the idea is now some of these things are becoming more visible. So you are stretching your senses to be able to sense fluctuations in energy, be they negative or positive, be they release or otherwise, you are now creating more capability within yourself to be able to sense and see these things. So you can gain some more insight into how to use these sights to guide you in your work.
Oh, and then, so is that, so just by experiencing them or seeing them,
You'll figure it out.
it's,
You'll know what to look at and when and what it means eventually. It'll all fall into place.
okay. And I guess, another question. So with all of this, something that I've been experiencing, and I would think that other people as well would experience with the energy and all. You mentioned the idea that there's universal energy that's kind of transpiring or occurring.
Yes.
And I tend to feel it a lot in my chest and my throat.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll just wake up in the middle of the night. It'll be like really early, maybe like 3 a.m.
Yes.
And
That's a typical time to be more sensitive to higher frequency energy.
yeah, and then I try to
You what?
well, I experience the energy.
Thank you.
And at first I see it as sadness in my mind, but then I realize, well, this is just energy.
Yes.
And I'm trying, so it's been kind of interesting. I guess I'm
Well,
more
you
sharing
may
than
be
asking.
releasing old things, or you may simply be going through the spectrum of emotionality in order to arrive at a different level. Sometimes this is what happens when you're connecting to other things, is you kind of go through layers of things that exist in your reality, but they're not really your feelings. You're just going through the spectrum of emotions that are available around you until such point as you can rise above or integrate them all and then go on from there into a different experience.
Wow.
This is actually quite typical when people start channeling. They will sometimes actually feel a complete gamut of emotionality. It isn't necessarily that they truly feel that way, but they're feeling the integration of all those things within their being so they can get to a higher level and allow the channeling to occur. Because you are, as a species, very compartmentalized. And so when you go into a more holistic expression, you sometimes have to go through that spectrum, up the ladder, so to speak, and bring all those things with you in a more integrated way. But you may actually feel them distinctly as different emotional levels.
Right, and then when the idea of integrating that.
Yes.
Because something that I kind of in my mind when I experience a negative emotion, and then I kind of stumble into the belief.
Yes.
It doesn't come in as necessarily as like a statement, like I believe this.
Yes.
It comes in this kind of a feeling, kind of a knowledge, but then.
Yes.
Then I guess my mind goes, oh, okay, well, is it gone, or did I integrate it completely?
Well, you can always examine if you did.
Right.
You can test yourself with different belief systems, different circumstances. You can go through a gamut of different opportunities, different circumstances and situations in your life and see if you're responding or reacting to them still to gauge what those emotions may or may not have been representative of. But if you find that there is no real negative reaction to any of that, then you can usually determine that you have sort of cleared your slate of that.
Okay, even as the feelings are still there, because I guess I'm wondering what's mine and what's, you say, I've heard you say that it's like in just the universe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can check within yourself to find out whether it has anything to do with you or whether you're just picking up on something else that isn't really your issue. By going through your own gamut of, well, all right, how am I responding or reacting to this circumstance in my life, this circumstance in my life, this circumstance in my life? And if you find that you're relatively neutral or positive on all of them, then you know most likely it's not your issue that you're feeling. You're just picking up on the emotional matrix around you for a variety of other reasons that you can use in positive ways.
Wow, awesome. And I have another question regarding the sun.
The sun?
Yeah.
Yes.
As growing up in the tropics and where I'm from, I loved sunbathing and being in the sun. And
yes.
I hear a lot of with skin cancer and all of that.
Yes.
There's this kind of fear around the sun, but then at the same time, I feel a lot of I've heard of the sun gazing and the idea of being able to take energy directly from the sun. And
well, yes, our civilization now only supports itself on pure electromagnetic energy and the energy of space and time. But again, the idea is that if you understand you're at a certain point in your evolution where your belief systems cannot necessarily and don't need it necessarily to transform certain things, then it might be wise not to stare at the sun.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand?
But
So if there is a natural reason why you need to develop the ability to do so, your life will bring that about. But you don't have to necessarily assume that if I don't have the ability to do this, I'm not as spiritual as I could be.
yeah, no, I mean, I really enjoy being on the sun, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's doing any harm, but it's not like I'm
Well,
just
pay attention to your
trying,
belief systems, really. Pay honest,
Right.
close attention to your belief systems, and you will find that you'll be guided to know what amount of exposure is appropriate and what is not relative to your belief system and how much of the consensus reality that you're buying into. You just have to be very, very open, honest, and clear within yourself about exactly how far your belief systems go, so that you're not forcing yourself to go farther than your belief systems will actually allow you to go until you actually change them.
I see.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's great.
Anything else, or is that it?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, well,
Yeah,
thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
Perfect, and you?
Doing really good. Thanks for
all
asking.
right.
My first question is that I was just curious to kind of know what would be like the main reason why other people from other realities basically feed off of chakras from humans and also
Who says
our
they
planet?
do? Who says there are such beings?
Well, I do feel that they always, go to the chakras of the planet and they use them in a way to kind of feed off the energy of the planet.
I see what you are referring
But
to.
also on a human
Why do
scale
you
as
use
well,
batteries in your automobile?
because we need to fuel them.
Then there you go.
So do they feed off like human chakras as well?
Not really.
Okay.
Not in the way that you mean that, no.
Okay. And my other question is, I actually had an experience about a month ago where I went to, I don't know if you know Tolek from the Andromeda Council. I actually
Not by that name. That is not something that translates into our understanding. But we understand Andromeda Council.
Okay, because I went to go meet with him about a month ago. And I was wondering if you can add a bit more clarity to the situation, because I know there's like an infinite amount of parallel realities that actually took place,
Yes.
but I'm not really sure exactly which one I'm in necessarily.
You're in this one right here.
I understand that, but is it based on just how I feel about it? And can I switch myself to the one that I prefer just based on my thoughts?
You have to switch yourself to the reality that you prefer based on your beliefs, not your thoughts.
So,
What you believe to be true creates the state of being that is responsible for shifting you to the frequency of the reality that is commensurate of that state of being. And the state of being comes from what you believe to be true or know to be true.
okay, so is it possible that because of my beliefs that there are beings putting thoughts in my mind to make me think a certain way?
You can create the experience that that's happening, but you're the one agreeing to create that experience for yourself. So they're not able to actually put them directly there, but you're able to operate on a frequency level that says that such a thing is possible, and therefore you're accepting from their idea that it's possible and inserting those thoughts in your own head.
Right, so in other words, I basically,
It's like a form of hypnosis.
okay,
The idea being that they've convinced you that such a thing is possible, and therefore you are willing to suspend your disbelief and do it to yourself. But you're the one doing it.
okay,
So you can stop it anytime you want.
so I could decide to basically just not believe in the thoughts, and then also,
Yes, if they're not relevant to what you prefer, of course. They have
Okay.
nothing to do with you if you don't prefer to have anything to do with them.
is it possible that I contracted them to do that to me?
It's
Like-
possible that you attracted it so that you could prove to yourself something, perhaps even using the negative idea to more clearly establish what it is you do prefer as opposed to what you don't prefer. Sometimes people on your planet will do that. They'll experience the idea of negativity to a greater degree so that it helps them clarify what it is they prefer instead.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely a lot more clear to me now.
All right.
I also do door-to-door sales for a
Yes.
living.
Yes. Is that
Now,
exciting to you?
it actually is.
Oh, all right.
I wasn't gonna at the
What do
start.
you sell?
I sell organic food.
Oh, all right.
So I was thinking at the start that I was gonna ask you whether or not it was the path, but
Well,
now
if it's
that,
exciting, then it is right now.
yeah,
Not that you can't do other things that are also exciting simultaneously in your life. Yes?
yeah, that's correct. Like I feel now that I've been in the swing of it for about 2 months. That I do feel that it is the path, and I've also
All right.
gotten feelings from other people that I'm gonna be very successful because of it. So
All
if I
right.
just
Well, you'll
stay-
find out, I guess.
Yeah, I'll
But
just have to keep
again,
doing it.
if that's what you feel is exciting right now, then right now that's your path. If it changes tomorrow, it changes tomorrow. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You'll find out when you find out.
All right.
Right now, if that's what excites you, stay in the moment with it. See what happens. You don't have to know what's going to happen. All you have to do is know that whatever happens, if you're operating from the present in your preferred state of being, is that whatever happens will be exactly what needs to happen. Therefore, who cares what it is? Because it will be perfectly what it needs to be.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah,
Have
that
I
makes sense.
sold you on that?
Yeah, you could say you have.
All right.
Kind of sold myself there.
Yes,
but,
you did. Very good. Because
Uh,
that's actually how salesmen are successful.
Yes,
They transmit the idea in a way that the person sells themselves.
That's correct.
I know. That's why I said it.
Also, from your perspective, are you seeing like all the multiple realities happening simultaneously, or are you only
Not all
seeing-
of them, just all the ones that are relevant for me at any given moment.
So you're seeing multiple realities happening at the same time. Like for example, you're seeing my
Patterns.
path.
Patterns of energy that represent multiple realities to whatever degree we need to perceive them to communicate with you.
Okay, so it's basically geared towards me, and
Right
how
now
my
it is.
energy is now.
Right now it is.
Right.
In my own life, obviously, at certain moments, it's geared more toward me.
And like, what are you doing right now? Are you just hanging out on a spaceship, or are you?
I am, as you say, hanging out on my spaceship in a state of repose to amplify and magnify the telepathic connection between myself and the channel so that he can function as the biological translator that can allow my thoughts to be translated into your language so that we can have this conversation, yes.
And what's your favorite thing to do outside of work? Like on your spaceship or on your planet?
Well, right now, this is my favorite thing. Otherwise, I will be exploring other realities, other dimensions, other civilizations. I'm a first contact specialist, and I am, in that sense, trained to make first contact with different civilizations. But this is the way we usually do it. We have a life, at least one, in the civilization that allows us to have some experience in that civilization so that when we make contact through our own other life, we have some sense of what that civilization is about so that we are not too alien to each other. Pun intended.
Right. So when Daryl's like living his life, you have
Yes.
full access to all his memories and all the things.
Only
that he's
what I
seen?
need.
Okay.
Again, I only have what I need when I need it. Otherwise, I don't have it. It's the same idea in transmitting much of this information to all of you. We impose or allow automatic filters on our consciousness so that if we were going to transmit any information that would intervene or interfere with any of your processes inappropriately, we simply will not know that information.
All right.
We may know it when we stop having this conversation, but we won't know it while we're having the conversation if transmitting it to you is inappropriate.
Okay. And I think this next question is really fitting to the area that we're in now.
Yes.
As far as like our planet and it transforming and going through its transformation, what can you say about like earthquakes and, the San Andreas fault line? I don't want to come from a fear-based.
All right, but again, remember that you're not transforming the planet, you're shifting to other planets that are more reflective of the change you've made within your own vibration. Nevertheless, to address your question, generally speaking, some people will be able to understand that they can only imagine changing when they shake themselves awake. Other people will know that they can transition in smoother ways. And
Right.
even if something is experienced by them, it doesn't in any way, shape, or form have to be detrimental or negative, even if other people right next to them are experiencing it that way.
So it's really just going to come down to the individual and how they feel about the
Absolutely.
planet and themselves.
How they believe, yes.
Okay, I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I
Is
do
that
want-
it?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for, everything you've done for me. It really helps like listening to your work, especially in the environment I put myself in with door-to-door sales.
Yes. Well, thank you for having done it to yourself.
And your friend back there definitely sold me on the Asasani crystal, so, good job to her, and hopefully it helps me with my job.
All right. Good job all around then.
All right. Thanks for your
Thank
help,
you very
Bashar.
much.
Have a nice day.
Narnia.
Yes, hi Tadeo. Okay, the first question has to do with the sighting of the missile
Yes.
that happened recently.
Yes.
And the buzz that it created on internet about UFOs and all of that.
Yes, yes. Well, there were UFOs involved in observing that, but the thing itself that was observed was a missile plume.
Right. So, of course, on one level, it's simply a missile going off
Yes.
and people seeing it and misinterpreting
Yes.
what was going on.
Yes.
And then on another level,
It was people sensing that there were extraterrestrial and other dimensional beings paying attention to the launch and sensing their presence as being involved in the entire incident somehow, thus sometimes maybe misinterpreting that what they saw was the actual extraterrestrial that they were sensing the energy of.
right. And so as a result, even though it was a missile launch,
Yes.
there was actually an ET contact experience available to
Yes.
everyone that was paying
Because
attention.
it drew their attention to a particular point in the sky that caused a magnification and an amplification that allowed the Yael to determine how ready you were for another appearance of one of their ships.
So I thought that was pretty cool too. So thank you for sharing that with everyone.
Yes.
And the fact that we did actually have a contact experience,
In a
even
sense,
though,
yes.
yeah, in a sense. Innocence.
Innocence.
We're innocent. In a sense.
Yes.
Okay, so the
Not
next,
to missile interpret that.
I should know better than trying to outdo you on puns. Okay, so the next question is, if excitement can change quickly and changing direction when then can mean that you have not followed through with a commitment, and especially in areas like marriage and parents.
Stop. Once again, this is a misunderstanding of the definition of excitement. If a commitment is made within and from within the vibration of excitement, synchronicity will allow you every opportunity that you need, that you require to fulfill the commitment. If a commitment is not made within the vibration of excitement, then that's where you can come up against the idea that suddenly you find that it's not necessarily something that you can fulfill. So you have to understand from which state of being the idea of a commitment comes from and is made in.
So basically what you're saying, if you're in the middle of a project and you don't feel like doing it anymore, you can't go like, oh, well, this is no longer part of my excitement. I'm not doing it anymore because Bashar said, right?
Well, in the circumstance as you're describing it, it is most likely a misinterpretation of the concept.
Exactly.
If you are following your passion truly, first of all, A, you would not really want to give it up because there wouldn't be any other choice that's as exciting. If the excitement wanes on its own and you know that you're still within your vibration of excitement, then as we said before to other people in this transmission, it's probably an indication that what your excitement is telling you is now you need to be excited about turning left or turning right or acting on another expression of the excitement, but you're still within the vibration of excitement. It's not like you're losing the excitement. It's just that the wind is shifting in your sail so that you can navigate in a different direction and in a different expression of your excitement. It's not that you're actually giving it up. You have to look at this holistically as a path.
Right. And it's really also that idea of sort of the umbrella concept.
Yes.
Like even if you're working on a project and there are elements of the project that aren't exciting to you, that doesn't mean that the whole project's not exciting. If you put it under
yes and no. Again, you have the opportunity to determine for yourself whether those unexciting elements could be allowed to be exciting by doing them in a different way, thus bringing it all under the umbrella of excitement, or whether those little bits and pieces are actually signals that it may not actually be the most exciting thing you could be doing. You have to make that determination honestly for yourself.
and delegate.
You can. That can be one exciting way to take care of things that you yourself are not excited to do, because that's the idea of cooperation and community.
Right, and then you're back in your excitement again.
Exactly. It's finding the path that works for you, finding the definition that works for you and the others with whom you're involved that's exciting to everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know that many people on your planet say, well, how can you possibly be excited about picking up someone else's trash? But people are, for a variety of reasons that perhaps you can't imagine, but they can be. For what it gives them may be something that you just can't fathom because you're not looking at it from their point of view. So if they're excited about it, let them do what they're excited about, even if you never believe you could be.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, you know, how
Yes.
many different things people are excited by, you know?
Absolutely. That's why you're all unique. That's why there are so many different belief systems and points of view and perspectives. None of you are the same. That's the beauty of all that is. It's a multidimensional holographic experience, and every single component is absolutely unique. No matter how similar it may be, it's never the same.
And there's two more questions. One is, can you explain the relationship between gamma rays and the pineal gland and the frontal lobe of the physical brain?
That's a conversation for another time when we have the ability to go much more in depth.
Okay, and the last two. One, does the whole collective consciousness shift when one person awakens, making every reality for everyone else change, or is...
Doesn't make the reality for everyone else change. When one person shifts, they shift to a reality where the collective consciousness already exists differently.
Yes. And then lastly, I like this question.
Go on.
Why is it every time I see whales or dolphins, I get so emotional and I cry?
Because they're family. And you're in love. And you're releasing and letting go and joining and rising up. And it is a heartfelt experience to meet others who are truly, in their own way, in love with you.
So it's really the most beautiful homecoming to be with our extended family of cetaceans.
Absolutely. It will move toward the idea of you becoming a more holistic world, to include all the others with whom you can communicate on your planet. As we have said, remember, when we talk about the idea of having open contact with you, we're not just talking about humans. We're talking about having open contact with all life on your planet. Every single thing.
And I just realized that one of the things that happens with the dolphins and the whales is they're vibrating at such a high frequency because they're in joyful state.
Yes.
And they're coming, in a sense, from gamma, I would imagine.
In many ways, although it's slightly different for them, but yes.
But basically what happens when you harmonize with the dolphins and the whales, what happens is you reconnect so much more strongly with your own higher self.
Absolutely.
That can make you cry right there, to know how
because it's like a homecoming, yes,
yeah,
as you said.
And you're so unconditionally loved by your higher self,
Yes.
to feel that will...
Yes, and remember that very often when you buy into negative belief systems, and have been doing so for a while in your terms of time, you actually build up chemical components or chemical constituents in your body that are actually representative of those negative beliefs. So when you finally re-merge with yourself, reintegrate yourself, you have to let go of those chemical components as well as the beliefs themselves. And very often the chemical constituents of negative beliefs that you're now letting go of will actually flow out of your body through your tears. They are tears of release.
It's just so beautiful. And lastly, just wanted to let everybody know that Bashar's birthday was this week, 11/11/11. So we all love you so dearly and appreciate everything that you share with us, and especially just your uniqueness and your signature frequency. And so I'd like to invite everyone to just sing happy birthday to Bashar. So 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Bashar. And many more.
All right. We thank you. You are the best birthday present we could ever have. Now, please take a short break. We will resume this transmission with a holotope meditation that will allow you a permission slip for gamma. We will resume shortly.